Hello coding aliens, welcome back to my YouTube channel Code with Akky. How are you doing guys? So this is the third part of the Cricbuzz clone. From the previous two part we have built the live score tracker, the player search profile where we have seen the statistics of the player, and now it is the last part, and in this part we will going to build or integrate the sports news API integration in this application. So this is a very important part. So pay attention here and watch this part of this clone till the end, as it is a last part, and after that it will be our perfect cricket application, a Cricbuzz application clone we have guys, right? So this is the deployed version that I have already built here. So now in what we are going to build in this part is especially the sports application, right? So let's see where all the data is coming from here. So I am using the sports news API here. I'm using this API here. It is free for the development part. But if you want to integrate this API for your production build, then you have to purchase it from news API, right? So this is how we are going to implement this. So this is the link here from where we will make a get request using fetch, or you guys will can use Axios there, right? So we have these things here, right? And next we have this React app. This is from where we will build the news application, sports news API here, but we are going to build the already built version is here. So I'm going to simply show you here. So this is the news. Here we have a news bulletin at the top when the news is being updated or simply posted. So this is the title of the news, scores, blips. The news covers all the sports news, whether it will be a cricket or football, or it will be any sports that is going to play around the world here. So this is the image of the image there, and now we have the description of the content here. We have this content here, but you can see there is a three dot here, so you can read the whole story on clicking here. So when you click on this, it will simply redirect you to the parent page of that news, and from there you can easily read all the news, right? So this is this is what we are going to implement here. We are using a material UI accordion. So here you can see a very nice UI stuff here. It is responsive. It is highly responsive for the mobile, for any device size here. It is responsive here. You can see here. Okay, I'm going to simply open here. MI versus RCB preview. Mumbai Indians face Royal Challenger Bangalore in opener and rise in the COVID times. So this is the news integration that we are going to build in this specific part here, right? So when you click on this, it will simply throw to you the respective page of the news owner there, and you can simply read the news from there. Okay, so this is just a news bulletin, a top news bulletin of the hour here. So this is all the news that we have here on the screen there, right? So let's just recap what we have built in the previous two part. If you have not watched the previous two part, then I will strongly recommend you to watch the previous two parts there, because it will give you it contains a lot of features there. As you can see here, we have a live scores here. When you click on this live score, now you can see here we have this matches, all the matches that is going across the globe here. We have the Western Australia versus Tasmania, and the match is started at the 7 a.m. and now you can see here the live score here, right? Next we have another match that is going between Victoria and the South Australia, and this is there, the match is going here, right? You can see here we have all the sorting features here. So when you want to see only the T2020 match, so we have all the 2020 matches here when you search for the 2020, right? When I will search for the ODI or the test, so you can see here the match for the ODI and the test also. So I'm going to simply say put the tests here. So all the test matches that is here: Sri Lanka versus Bangladesh, Zimbabwe versus Pakistan, every test matches here. When you will search for the ODI, you will get all the ODI matches here, right? here Namibia versus Uganda, the match is going on there, right? Next we have we have these things, and the in the second part we have implemented the player search feature, where we have implemented the player profile feature. So here I'm going to simply search for a player here, I'm going to simply search for Rohit Sharma. Okay, ROHIT, right? So this is the player profile for Rohit Sharma here, and now we have this player profile for the Rohit Sharma here. This is just exact what Cricbuzz have all the information just like, and we have just implemented everything here, from the bowling and the batting statistics to the profile, the teams under which the Rohit Sharma had play, and the personal information, right? So we have each and we have all the details of the every player that has been played or is playing for their respective countries. So you can simply search their name here, and you will get all the lists of the player with that respective name. So this is what we have learned in the second part of it. Now in the third part, we are now going to integrate the news application, sports news API there. So here what I'm going to do, first of all, you guys have to simply make a get request to that API. I will simply drop the link of that link of the API of there, from where we are going to get a fetch request there, and now after that we will get the fetch requests from there, and simply we will generate a JSON type data, and will be simply render this data on the screen. Okay, so this is what we are going to do here. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply open let's go back to the Visual Studio. Okay, so let's go back to the code editor here. So we have a news here. When we click on the news, we will have the same header and the match strips there, what we want there. So first of all, I'm going to simply create a component there. So first of all, I'm going to create a component there. So let's create a component with the name of news.js, right? And let's create the component of news.js, and here we'll create make a functional component using RFCE snippet, and here we will simply give a class. All right, let me give the class name just like news here, right? And here we'll simply import the CSS file. So simply import CSS, or inside of this we will create a news.css there also, right? So I'm going to simply go and create a news.css also. So news.css, and put it inside the CSS folder, right? Okay, so we have these things here. So next what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply import the accordion and everything. So first of all, let's test whether it is working or not. So I'm going to simply test it here using h1 like this, h1, and here we'll simply input hello from news component. Now let's save this. You will see the hello from the news component will be rendered on the screen when I will refresh the page here, right? So let's refresh the page. Okay, nothing is showing there. So let's go back to the app.js. Let's go back to the app.js, and here, okay, so we have not set the route there. So first of all, let's set the route first of all there. So here we have this route exact, and next let's give the path for sports news, and let's have the give the component. So now component, right? So for the component, simply give the component name. So we have this news. Okay, so let's import the news first of all. So let's import the news here. So I have imported the news from here, news component here. Okay, let's put the closing tag here. Now save this. Okay, so I think let's refresh the page. Okay, it is compiling, so let's compile it successfully. Okay, so it is compiled. Now you can see here hello from news component is rendering on the screen. So now we are good to go. Now I'm going to simply set the configure the API first of all. So let's go back to your api.js, and inside of this api.js, what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply make it or simply call the function, right? So get news function. So simply here I'm going to simply create another folder. So export const get news, right? Get news, and here we will put these things here. Okay, now here we have the url const url, and we'll simply paste the url here. Okay, so let's grab the URL. First of all, you have to simply log in here to generate a API key. So you guys just simply sign up and then log in, and you will get a API key here also. So here we have copied the API key, or we have copied the URL here. Simply paste it down here, and after the URL, simply call a return fetch function here. So simply inside of the fetch, we will simply pass a URL. You can use a Axios there also. Axios is a very powerful thing for the REST API. I'm just not using everything, so that's why I've not used the Axios there. We are just prefer the fetch function here. Okay, here we will simply put the console.log, is everything fine, or simply return the JSON file, right? So first of all, let's remove the console. All right, we will put the res.json. It will simply it is a callback function, and it will simply return the JSON type data. And next we have the catch. If there will be any error, so simply we will catch that error, and simply we will console.log error. So simply we will console out the error if there will be any error happen there. Okay, so now let's save this. Okay, so we have successfully implement the get news API integration there. Right, now our next step is to simply use that API. So let's go back to your news.js. So inside of this news.js, what we are going to build, we have if you see at the deployed version, we have all the accordion, and we have these things here. So first of all, we have to integrate these things here. So how we will do this? So here I'm going to follow the step-by-step process here. So let's see this part very carefully. So here we have hello from the news component. So I'm going to simply remove that text here, and here we will simply put the name. If you see here the latest sports news. So we will simply put the heading here, latest sports news heading, right inside of this news.js. And next we will have a header for the Cricbuzz, and next we will have the match strip here. All right, so here, so let's see, we have this news.js, or here inside of this we have this Cricbuzz, and we have Cricbuzz. So first of all, I'm going to simply import the Cricbuzz, because it has everything there. So import Cricbuzz. So import Cricbuzz component from Cricbuzz Cricbuzz, and we'll import the CSS for the Cricbuzz also. So CSS, and inside of this CSS we have Cricbuzz.css, right? So Cricbuzz.css. Okay, so we have this Cricbuzz, and the Cricbuzz component contains both things here. Next we have the spinner, which is a loading screen. So we will put the spinner also there for the loading screen, which will be a very nice animated UI. We have this. So here we have this spinner. Let's import it from we have image, or inside of this image directory we have a spinner.zip file, right? So we have this spinner.zip file there. Okay, next what I'm going to do, so first of all, inside of this news, we will first set up the match strip and everything. So we I'm just going to create a hook for the match. Simply set match. So if you have not watched, we have done this in our first part or the second part. If you have not watched that both of that part, so I will strongly recommend you to watch that part after this part, right? So here we have the useState. So let's import the useState from the here. So next we have a matches. I have created the match, and next we will create a news API also. So for the news we will have a news and set news, right? So both of these will be in both of these will be empty array. Okay, and next we have a limit. So let's make the limit here, limit for the, because we only want to render the 5 match strips there. So 5 matches, first 5 matches, as you can see here, we have this matches, and this is the first 5 matches that we will see on the screen there. Okay, so we have these things here. Okay, we have the matches and we have set the matches here. Now it's time to simply call the function. So let's use a use effect, which is a powerful hook here. So we have this use effect. Let's import it from the material let's import it from React. So next we have this use effect, and here we will have a get match info. So get matches info, import it from the API here, and it will simply return a JSON type data of all the matches that is going to happen, or simply all the matches that is going on right now. Okay, so we have these things, and next we will simply set the matches there. So simply set the matches with that data that we will get it from. So data dot matches. So we have this we have done this thing already. We have already done this thing inside our, we have already done this thing in the previous 2 build there. So I'll just make it very fast, so that's why. So we have done these things already. So next we have a catch function here. So catch, if there will be any error, so simply console out the error there. So console dot log, simply put the error, right? So we have a use effect here. So when the components will load, it will simply get the, or simply slice the first five matches that is going on, and will simply it will simply stored in the matches hooks that we have already created at the very top here. So matches and the set matches here. Okay, so next our next part is for the news there. So for the news we will simply create another use effect hook there for the news, and next we will simply call a get news API is there. So get news dot, then it will also callback function. It will simply return a JSON type data, and now we will simply set that data in the news there. So simply set news, and inside of this we will simply we will simply set the data or the articles there. So we have this articles. Okay, and next it will be it will have a articles there, right? Okay, so if there will be any error, so simply catch that error. So catch error, or simply console out the error that is thrown there. So console dot log, and simply put the error name or the any error that is going to render there. Okay, so we have these things here. We have our news, and we have the set we have the matches, and we have the news section already. We have these things, both of these things, right? Okay, so now our next step is to simply import, or simply put the Cricbuzz there, the header section here. As you can see here, we have this Cricbuzz and the match strip section there. So here we have this we have a news there. So here we will put these things like this, and here we will have okay, let's put it and brought it inside of this. Okay, so inside of this new, first of all, we have the Cricbuzz. So Cricbuzz. Okay, and now okay, so let's put a semicolon. Okay, remove this. So we have this Cricbuzz. It will simply create and generate it will simply takes 2 properties. One is unique ID. So we will simply put the unique ID for each and every matches. So we have this limit dot unique, not limit. Okay, so it will be limit dot, okay, unique ID. So it is a match ID, and then we have a limit. So we will simply set the limit for limit of, which is a sliced array of 5 elements there. Okay, we have these limits, and we have this set limits here. So we have this Cricbuzz key there, and next we have a h3 tag. So let's put the h3 tag there. Okay, so we have this h3 tag, and here we will simply have a latest sports news, right? This is the way how to do this. Okay, and next I'm going to simply remove this div here also, and next we will simply render everything, the news there. Okay, so now let's save this. Let's save this first of all here. Okay, so now you can see here we have the match strip here, and we have a h4 tag of this get as latest sports news there. Okay, so when I click on this search, and when I click on this, you will see it is now switching between the switching between both of the pages there. Right now it's time to simply render all the news section there. So first of all, to render every news, first of all I'm going to import the accordion, and I have already set up the accordion earlier in my second part, when I used the player search features there. So first of all, I'm going to simply render it with the accordion. So first of all, let's go back to your player search.js. So we have this player search here, and let's close this first of all. And here we have this accordion. So we have a make styles there. So I'm going to simply copy this. We have I'm going to simply copy this, or I will just simply grab this accordion, right? So we have a very large accordion things here, so I'm not going to simply import this. So what I'm going to simply do, I'm going to simply go back to news.js, and there we'll simply search for material inside of this materialui.com, and here the materialui.com will provide the skeleton, or the simple thing that we have to simply do there. So let's search for the accordion, and here we have this accordion there, and here we have this accordion, and let's go at the very simple accordion that we have. Click on this here, and now you can see here, let's copy this and simply, okay, let's copy this and simply put it down here. So we have this accordion there. Okay, so I'm going to simply put it down here. Okay, so we have these things here. Okay, there is an issue at the bottom here. Okay, look, okay, it is fine, right? So we have this function export default, so simply remove this. Okay, so we have these things here. Okay, now I'm going to simply save this first of all, and now we will first re-render this. So okay, so we have these things here. So first of all, to render this thing, so you have to simply import the simple accordion here. So we have this simple accordion. Okay, and now save this. You will be able to see the simple accordion there. Okay, simple accordion, fine, simple accordion. Let's refresh this. Okay, so you can see here we have this accordion here. Okay, so this is the accordion that we are talking about here. So we have this accordion here, right? Okay, so our next step is to just integrate what we want to do. So here you can see here we have 3 instances of accordion. So I'm going to simply remove the remaining 2 instances, and we will simply remove the 2 instances of the accordion here. Okay, and next we have a typography. So I'm going to simply remove the typography also from there. Okay, let's remove the typography. Okay, so we have a summary and we have a details there. Okay, right, next here we have styles. So for this style I'm going to simply give a style of the width at 100%. So let's give the width to 80%. Okay, so 80% width, and then let's give the font size. So I will give the font size to 1.1 rem, and here we have this font weight. So font weight, for the font weight we will simply give a 500, right? So that this is the font height or font size and the weight for the only for the heading there, right? Next we have a accordion there, and next inside of this accordion, next we have a accordion summary. So accordion summary is basically what we will see without expanding a data. So what do you have? Okay, so I'm going to simply show you. So accordion 1 is the accordion summary. So basically accordion summary is what is that what you see when you have not expand using this icon. So what you will see when it is which is shown there, it is accordion. Okay, so this is the accordion here. Okay, so there is nothing there and nothing in the description, and there is nothing here. Okay, let's go and have this. Let's go and build these things here. So how we will do this? So first of all, like as you guys can see here, we have a expand more icon, right? So we have a expand more icon there. So let's go here, and first of all let's remove the typography, I think. So let's remove the typography now, save this. Okay, so we have this expand more icon here. Okay, fine. Okay, so now we have to simply render the render the render this use effect there. So it is working or not? So let's find out, figure it out here. So simply here inside of this news here, I'm going to simply grab and put it there, I think. Okay, it is fine. And here we will simply console out the response that we get there. So simply console.log article, or simply put there yeah, right, article res.articles. So it will simply show you all the data, okay, inside of this console. So let's open the console there. Okay, so here inside of this console, okay, failed to load server, we responded 429 error. Okay, I think there is some, refresh this, let's refresh this page. Okay, so we have, okay, 429. Let me clear it one thing. So what is the issue here? Okay, sorry, we have not put the dependencies, empty dependencies there, because it will simply re-render many times there. So that's why we have get that error, or the simply it just go infinite rendering there, right? So first of all, let's put the missing dependencies that we have here. So simply put missing dependencies of news, and here now save this. It will now prevent the application to go in infinite re-rendering state there. Okay, so we have to simply put dependencies, or simply put empty array. Empty array will simply ensure that it will simply component will simply load, or it will render one time, only one time when the application loads there. Okay, so we are getting error because we have too many requests, right? We have too many requests here because we have only 100 requests over 24-hour periods, and 50 requests available after every 12 hours. So we have due to infinite rendering, I think we have exhausted our rate limit there. Okay, so I will continue it after, when these things when we have limited, when we have this limited quota is not exhausted, and will simply replenished there. Okay, so let's do it now. Okay, now you guys can see here we have all the we have a news, we have the news here in the JSON type format here, as you can see here. So we have top 20 news from this R, right? So we have this news here, we have the author, we have the content here, we have the description, we have the published ad, we have the source. Okay, next we have the title, we have the URL, and URL the image. Okay, so we have all these things here, and right, we have author, we have all the content, and we have everything that is on rendering on the screen. Now it's time to simply it's time to simply render it on render it on the screen, or simply integrate these things. So how to integrate these things? So first of all, inside of this accordion, right? So inside of this accordion, we have this accordions there, accordion there. So first of all, I will simply make sure make sure that we have these things here. So first of all, inside of this this accordion will render the amount of the news. Okay, so as in the instance of here we have only 20 news, so this simple accordion will have to simply re-render for the 20th time, right? So here next we have a simple accordion there. So I'm going to simply do what I will simply re-render, right? So we have a news, inside of this news we have all the news, array of the news there. So I will simply re-render the simple accordion for the number of the elements of the news that it contains. So in news.map will use a map functionality. It will simply iterate over each and every news that we have. Okay, so here news, and here inside of this we will simply pass the accordion, a simple accordion inside of this news. So it will simply called for the number of the elements, or simply the number of the elements that this news array has, and it will simply mapped for that amount of time. So it will simply have a 20 news. As you can see here, we have the 20 instances that is created there. Okay, so here we have the instances there. Now it's time to simply pass the now it's time to simply pass the properties props here. So we can simply use that props and in the accordion to render the images and render the things that we want there. So inside of this we have simply passed the props there. So now it's time to simply render the props. So we have this news there, right? And now next we will have a summary. So summary is what we will see. Okay, so summary is what we will see when we are not expanding the accordion. So first of all, let's at the summary we will have we will simply set the summary, we will simply set the news description. Okay, so we will simply set the news description there, right? So let's do these things here. So inside of this accordion summary, we have a h4 tag. So simply create an h4 tag, and here inside of this h4 tag I will simply give a class name. Here, and we will simply use classes dot heading. Okay, so that what we have a styled component at the top there. So classes dot heading, right? And next we have a news there. So we have a news. Okay, so let's have this news, and here you can see we have the title. So we will simply put a news dot title there. So news dot title, and now when I save this, you will see all the news titles will be rendered on the screen. Okay, so we have saved this, and now you can see here all the news titles is rendering on the screen there. Okay, so this is the things that we want there. Okay, and next, as you can see here, we have a date. Okay, so when you see the deployed version here, so we will have a date also there. So first of all, now inside of this summary, next we will simply set the date also there in beneath the title. So simply we will wrap it inside a small tag. So inside of this small tag we will simply convert the date string, because you can see here the date is not in the local string, right? So we will first we will set the date. As you can see here, inside of this we have this published at. So basically it is not not in the format that we want. So first of all, we want to set the format of the date. So here we will now create a new date instead of new date here, and we will simply pass the news dot publish at publish. So published at, right? So we will now simply put there. So new date and news dot published ed, right? So published at, and here we will simply convert or simply change it to the locale string. So locale locale date string or the time string, simply put the locale string, and now it will simply convert it to the local data and time string according to the server here. So now you can see here we have all the we have the date that is converted to the locale string there. Now next we have these things here, both of these things here. Now what now we have to add everything, the remaining thing in the summary there. It is we are remaining thing in the details, because we are done with the summary. We just only want to show the title and the date, right, at the in the summary, and it will be simply visible when we will not expanding them. When we will simply expand this according, now we will get everything there and there inside of this detail. So inside what we will add in the detail, we will get everything there. So inside of this detail, we will now going to create a div, give a class name, div class name, and here we have a, let's give the class name to accord details, close this div here. Okay, so accord details, and inside of this details, we have a p tag. Let's put a p tag here, and inside of this p tag we have a news description. So let's put the news dot description. Okay, so news dot description, if it is or not, so simply I will apply the question mark there for if the value is undefined or the null value expression there. So news dot description. Now when I expand this, now you will get the description of the news there, right? So this is the news description here. Okay, so when I expand this, you will get the news description here. Time for the classico. When I expand this, you will get the news description here. So this is the news description that what we will get there. Okay, and next the next what I'm going to do, so here we have this news description there. Let's now we have this news description. Okay, next what I'm going to simply render there the image there. So let's render the image. So image, put the image tag here, so image, and we will simply provide the source. So here you can see here we have a URL to image, that is the source of there. So we have the image, and we will simply put the source to the news question mark dot URL to image, right? So URL to image will, and next we will simply provide the alt for there. So simply alt we have for image, and now save this. You will see the image will be also rendering on the screen. Okay, so now you can see here this is the image here. Okay, so it is a very large image. Now what we have to do, we have to simply do the CSS for this, so for this to make it look attractive there. Okay, so we have a very large image there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, so here we have a very large image here. You can see this is the image there. Okay, so we will do it later. We will set the CSS there. Okay, next we have this image. After that image, we will simply show the user the news content there. So let's show the news content here. What is the error there? Redundant alt attribute. Okay, screen only, no image tags on the image. Okay, we have a redundant alt attribute. Okay, so we have this image one. Okay, and now next let's create another div here, and here we have a details. So let's wrap it inside another div. So let's give the div and class name accord details and description. All right, so we have already have the description with the content there. So we have this description of there. Okay, and now we have a, let's wrap it inside of this p tag, and here we have a news content. So news. Okay, let's put a curly braces also. So we have a news content there. So news dot question mark dot content, if there have a null value or any other thing. So content, right? So news content, put the news content here. Now save this. You will see the news content will also have, we have this news content here. Okay, so this is the news content, but you can see here we have a 3 dots and this the how much chars here. So but we don't want to show this chars here. So what we will do, we will simply trim that part, or split that part in, and then we will simply trim it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply convert it to a string. so simply convert it to the string there. So we have converted to the string, and we will simply split it into the both part, and we'll be simply put this after this split. And now we just want the left part, so we have simply put the 0 there inside of this, and next we will simply trim out the white spaces if there will be any. And now when I save this, you will see that part will go on there. Okay, so now we have saved this, and now okay, I think cannot read a string of null. Okay, let's put okay, so content to a string. Okay, let's put this. Now save this. Chain concatenation here. Okay, so now we will not see the chars or the everything there. Okay, so we have these things here. Fine. Okay, so now you can see the cars is removed, or the cars and the thing that we have inside of this array like structure is now removed from there. Okay, so we have the content there, and next what I'm going to show, I'm going to simply show the link of there. So how we will show this? So simply we have a description, and after the description we have a full story. So we just want to redirect the user to a different site, right? So to the parent site to read the whole news. So here we will simply create a div, another div. We have, let's give a called full story, and let's close this div. And inside of this div we have a anchor tag. So here we have an anchor tag. Let's give a class name to the anchor tag of link. Let's give the class name of the link. And here we are going to simply put the href value. Href value is the href value is where it will simply relocate, or simply just simply push that user to that respective location there. So news and question mark dot here now we have a URL here. So URL, from that URL user will go to that respective news column where they will simply read the whole story there. So we have a href, and now we are going to simply put a target of blank. And when we put the target of blank, it will raise a security issue. So that for that we will simply put the relevant, or the simply we have a target blank there. And now we will simply set the relevant to the no referer, no opener. So it will be very easier for it will no longer to ask no longer to security vulnerability. So no referer and no opener, opener, OPENER. So no referer, no opener. And okay, so what the error is? Anchor must have a content, and the content must be accessible by screen reader. Okay, so now we have to simply put the content here. So let's put content, and here we have to simply put a read full story. Okay, so here we will read full story here. Okay, so it will simply redirects the user to that URL that we have passed here in the href. And the last thing that we want to render there, the source from the news that we have got there. So it is necessary for us to simply show the source there, because for any copyright issue or any other thing credit there, so we'll simply put the source there also. So from the news is coming, so I will simply put the source also. So let me wrap it inside another div here, and let's give the class name here a called source. So a called source, right? Let's close this div, and here a called source, and we will simply have a p tag here. So let's close this p tag, and we have a news courtesy, and here we have a span. Let's wrap it inside of this span, and inside of this span we have a news dot source name. So okay, let's put inside of this curly bracket news question mark dot source. We have this source inside of this. As you guys can see here, we have inside of this news, and we have this source, and next inside of this source we have a name. Okay, so we have a source and dot, and here we'll put a chain concatenation also there, and next we have this name also there. Okay, so we have these things here, right? So we have a news courtesy here. Now let's give the class name also. It will be very easy for us to style that spine tag there also. So we'll simply give a class name to the source. Now save this. We will get the h tag, or we have this, as you guys can see here, we have a news courtesy here. Okay, so now we have a read full story also there. I think let's see we have or not. Okay, let me do it for there. Fine. Okay, so url for that part is not showing, I think. So let me see what the error is. So news.url, I think, is the link here. So inside of this we have a href to the news.url. Okay, let's me put. Okay, so the console there first of all. Okay, inside of this console, let me see the sources there. Okay, so here we have a url, right? Okay, so we have this url is the thing that we have to open there. So here we have a href here. I think the href will be there, but it will be inside of but it will be inside of there. So that's why we are not able to see that href there. Okay, so we will do this. So now our next step is to style everything there. So it will be very easy for us to do the debugging there. So let's style their news.css. So let's open the news.css and just put it down. Okay, and here now we will simply style the news.css here from there. So it will be very easy for us to you can see it will be very, it looks now attractive or simply perfect, because it is looking very weird right now. So first of all, you guys have to simply import the news.css inside of the news.js, and after that we are now good to go to add a css inside of this news.css. So first of all, we have a news.css. so let me see. Okay, so we have these things here. Okay, so let me see the class name, if we have any class name here. So we have nothing there. Okay, so I'm going to simply I'm just going to simply put a news class and here. So let's me give a class name. Let's give a news, and after that let me put div tag also there. Fine. Okay, so we have a news class here. Now let's save this, and next we have a news. So inside of this news we have simply put a display of flex. Okay, let me close this. Okay, so everything is now, you can see here, it is a very large here. So we have given the news display of flex direction column, and align all every items to the line items to the center. Okay, and now save this, and let me give the margin from the top, margin top of 20 pixel. Okay, so now save this. Okay, so next we have a h3 here. So let me style the h3 also. So let's dot news. Inside of this news we have this h3, and let me give the h3 first of all, let me give the color to the white, so that it will be in a white color there, right? And now next we have a margin. I'm just giving the margin bottom. So margin bottom of 30 pixel, so it will be quite separated from the bottom here. Let me give the font size here. Give the font size to the large XXL font size there. And now I will simply align the text to the center. And let's give the font weight. So simply give a font weight to font weight. So just give the font weight to 500. Now save this. Okay, so we are now done with this. Now it's time to style the chord summary. So we have a chord summary, and inside of this chord summary we have a small tag So first of all, target the small tag for the for this. You can see here we have a small tag for this date string there. So we'll simply give the font weight of 500, and now save this. Okay, we have a small accord summary for the small tag, and now we have a h4 tag. So accord summary, and now we have is h4 tag. So simply style the h4 tag for this. Simply give the margin bomb of 10 pixel, and now we will simply style the accord. We have a paper. Okay, so we have a MUI paper root and the this. So let me what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply do all every CSS add there, and just will simply paste the code, because we have already done these things in previously. So I'm going to simply paste the code exactly there also, right? Now we have pasted the code. We have done all the CSS and pasted the code here. All right, so we have a MUI paper root here. We have given the margin bottom, because it is now separated 10 pixel from the bottom from each and every accordions there, right? We have this. When I expand this, now you can see here we have this title. We have the we have this title. Okay, and next we have this title, we have this description, we have the image, and now we have this we have the content. And when I click on this, we will be redirected to the respective page there. Also, yeah, as you guys can see here, we have redirected to that page here, right? So we are done with this. I think we are done with this things here. But the only thing that we have to simply do is this. You can see here we have a h4, and the both of thing is by side by side. We just want the date is just beneath there. So here, as you guys can see at the top, we have a Cricbuzz there also. Let me see where we have a h4, and we have this. Okay, so we have a accordion summary, and we have the accordion summary here, and here inside of this we have a h4 and the a small tag there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply put a class here. So let me give a class name of accord summary, and close this div, and put this thing accordion summary. I think I have not done with this. So grab this a small nh4, put it inside of this accordion summary, and now save this. And inside of this CSS, okay, so inside of this CSS, you can see we have this flex direction, and now we have this accordion and there and these things here and there. So this is the exact thing that we want this. Okay, so you can see here it is separated from there, but we will simply set it there. Fine. So when I make it bigger, now you can see here we have this accordion and we have the news here. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply make it more responsive and looking at more attractive looking. Make it more look more attractive. What I'm going to do, you can see we are done with this. Okay, so let me show you one more thing. Okay, so here inside of this description, so let me find the description where we have this. Okay, so we have these things here. We will simply give a font size to 3.5 view width, right? So it will be now responsive here. Okay, so okay, let me show you. So when I will expand it, you will see the news, and now you will see it is responsive with the every screen size here, the p tag here, the description of the news, right? We are done with these things here. We have this news, but the only and the last thing that is left behind to set it is the only thing that we have to simply set is the spinner feature. So a spinner feature, to add the spinner feature, what I'm going to do, so I'm going to simply okay, let me put this and grab it here. Okay, and inside of this news.js, and here inside of this news.js, okay, let me scroll it top. Okay, so close this. Okay, so inside of this news.js, what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply have a spinner. So a spinner, so to add the spinner, what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply create a create another user state hook here for loading and set loading. So loading and set loading. Initially we will put it user state, we will put it to we will simply put it to the true or false. We'll simply put it true. Initially it will be true, which is a boolean function, boolean value. It takes a boolean value there. Okay, so when the news article, then when we get the news article, we will simply set loading to the false. Okay, so we'll simply set the loading to the false here. Just put the res dot article. Okay, or you can simply remove the console or simply comment the console, and now it will be perfect there. Okay, we have this loading and the set loading, and after that now we are going to simply put the loading and the set loading. So initially the loading is true, right? So initially the loading is true. So we have a news inside of this. So after that we will put, so here we have a loading, right? So if there will be a loading, means if the loading is true. Okay, so if the loading is true, we are now going to simply show the image. We will going to show here, and else part is inside of it. So I'm going to create a empty fragment in the both of there. Let's create the empty fragment there also. Close this. Fine. So here grab this div and put it inside of this if there will be loading false, and inside of this what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply put a image tag. So here we have an image, and inside of this image we have the source of that image. So for the source we have a spinner. We have already imported the spinner. Next we have an alt here, so we'll give the loading to the alt, and next we have a style here. So simply for the style, we are now using the JSX way for the styling. So we'll simply give the style to the position. Let's give the position to the absolute position, and let me put the width to width here, 260 width, and height, put the height, height, put the height to 300 the height, and next we want it to center it. So to center it, we will simply put it the top of 50. Okay, put a semicolon there. Okay, not a semicolon, just put a comma there. Top of 50 and the left of 50, just make it to the center there, right? So it will simply render this image to the center here. Next we will simply use transform there. So inside of this transform, we will use translate here. So translate. So we have a translate here. For the translate, we will simply use a minus of 50%, comma minus. Okay, put a minus of 50% also. So we have this transform, and we have this source and everything there. We are done with this thing, and now I'm going to simply save this, and now you will be see the spinner will be there. After that we will see this. So I'm going to simply refresh this. Okay, let me refresh this. Okay, now you can see we have this spinner, and when the spinners load, when the news will load, the spinner will be removed from there. Okay, so we are done with this. These things here. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so we are done with these things here. I'm going to simply refresh it one more time, and you can see here we have this spinner. Okay, now you can see here the news there. Okay, so we have this news, visit ipl.com, this news here. We have a read full news here. Now we have a news courtesy there, and everything. We are done with this thing here, right? So this is the exact thing that we are going to build inside of this part, and now we are done with this, the Cricbuzz clone. So we have the three parts of the Cricbuzz clone that we have created there. And if you guys like this video, make sure to subscribe this channel for more and more videos just like this. And if you have any doubts or queries regarding this part or any other parts, just comment down in the comment box, and you guys can simply suggest me for the next part, or just for the next project, what you guys want me to build here. So simply comment down your suggestions for the next build. I will reply each and every comment of yours, and will simply make out or simply clear your doubts if you have any doubts there. If you have not follow me on the Instagram, you can simply go to the link. I will simply drop the link of the